starting with the new slide. The next set of definitions is related to the sexuality in the flowers. Now, to know the sexuality in flowers, you need to first understand about the stamens and carpels. We have already known about the 4 floral whorls. My dear students, I am repeating it again and again about the 4 floral whorls. I am sure by now you all are clear about the 4 whorls. Here I want to know majorly, I want to emphasize majorly on stamens and carpels. Now stamens, again for your information, I have drawn the structure of the stamens. Okay, please focus on this diagram. This is the diagram of the stamen which I had drawn in the structure of the flower. This stamen is divided into 2 parts, bilobed anther, if you all could remember, and the filament part. Now what is the role of the anther? What is the role of the filament? Anther is required for the production of the pollens, right? And it is this pollen which further forms the male gametes. The pollens which forms the male gametes. Filament, it is required just to raise. It's the thread-like structure. If you all remember, I had said it is required to raise the anther part. The carpels or the pistils, also called as pistil. Just please focus on the diagram. It is further being divided into 3 parts: stigma, style and ovary. The topmost part is the stigma, the thread-like structure is the style, the oval shaped structure is called as ovary. Inside the ovary you would see the structure which is called as ovule. Inside the ovule you would see the egg cell, which is nothing but the female gamete, right? Students, why am I emphasizing on the stamens and carpels again? Why? That is because in this definition section, we need to learn about the different definitions which are related to the sexuality in flowers. That means you need to know whether the flowers are bisexual or whether they are male flowers or female flowers, whether they are unisexual, whether they are neuter flowers, etc. Right? So to understand these definitions, you should be pretty clear about the male part and the female part of the flower. The male part is the stamen, which is responsible for the production of the male gametes. The female part is the carpel, which is responsible for the production of the egg cell, also called as the female gamete, right? So here I have given a statement that the stamens and the carpels are the male and the female parts of the flower respectively. Now based on these 2 whorls, we would be defining the different definitions which are all based on the sexuality in the flowers. The first definition, which says bisexual or hermaphrodite flower. Okay. Now bisexual, bi stands for 2. Sexual stands for having both the sexes. A flower which has both the sexual parts in it, both the reproductive parts in it. That means which bears both the stamens as well as the carpel in it is called as bisexual flower, also called as hermaphrodite flower. Okay. So the flower which contains both stamens and carpels is called as a bisexual flower or the hermaphrodite flower. Example, common example is China rose or even a rose flower. Unisexual flowers. Again, the name itself is going to suggest you uni. Uni stands for single. Sexual means sex, having any single sex. Students, when I say unisexual, here the definition is based on their sexuality. Please do not relate it with the floral worlds. Don't say that amongst the 4 worlds, any of the one world is present, then the flower might be unisexual. No. You need to say here that flower having either the stamen or only the carpels, having only the stamen or only the carpels, either of the one sexual part is called as the unisexual flower. Example, papaya or even palm. Okay. So this is the definition of unisexual flower. Third definition is male or staminate flower. The word itself defines everything. Male flowers are those, or staminate flowers are those which will be having only the male reproductive part. That means which will contain only the stamen parts in them. The common example over here is cucumber. Okay. Female or pistillate flower. Again, as I said, the name is going to suggest you all the definition. It's going to define you all everything. That means the unisexual flowers which contains only pistil or carpel part, that means only one reproductive part is called as, pistil reproductive part is called as the female or the pistillate flower. Example is corn. Neuter flowers. Okay, now as we are through with bisexual, we are through with unisexual, we are through with staminate, pistillate. The last is left, which is the neuter flower. What do you understand by neuter flower? These are those flowers in which you would see neither of the reproductive organs which are present. That means no stamens, no carpels. There is no stamen, there is no carpel that is present. That means, how do these plants undergo reproduction? Will they even undergo reproduction? Yes, definitely. But there are asexual modes of reproduction in them. We shall not discuss on those reproduction processes. That's not the part of the chapter. But definitely they will undergo the process of reproduction. Now the common example over here is ray florets of sunflower. You all must have heard about a sunflower. Yes, I'm sure. But you all must not be knowing what is ray florets of sunflower. Now, what is the ray floret? In simple words, the every petal of the sunflower is called as the ray floret of the sunflower. Okay? The every petal does not contain individual. It's actually considered that every petal of the sunflower by itself is a flower. Okay, it's not the petal, but it's a flower by itself. And therefore, the ray floret of the sunflower becomes an example of a neuter flower, which is not having either a stamen or it is not having a pistil or carpel in it. Okay, and therefore this becomes the example of the neuter flower. So here we understood many definitions in today's session. Okay, we started with the definition. What all definitions? We would just quickly name the list of the definitions. In the sexuality of the flowers, we understood about bisexual hermaphrodite flower. We understood about unisexual staminate flower, pistillate flower, neuter flower. In the previous slide, we had studied about complete flower. We had studied about incomplete flower. We had even studied about bracts. We had understood about, we even understood about the essential whorls, about non-essential whorls. We studied about nectaries in the last session. So all these definitions, we are even understood about perianth. Okay, so all these definitions I hope are pretty clear to you all. Please go through all the definitions and thoroughly remember them. Thank you.